There's a war happening in your mind, not with the world, not with other people, with the part of you that keeps asking for approval. That part dies today. You were not born to be tolerated. You were born to disrupt, to interrupt the cycle of playing small, to walk into rooms and not shrink to fit the atmosphere, but to shift it, not by noise, not by ego, but by the silent gravity of a person who knows who they are, knows what they came here to do, knows they don't need to beg the world to see them, because the world has no choice but to see what refuses to disappear. You think too much, you calculate too much, you wait too long. And all that waiting is just fear, dressed up as strategy. But time doesn't wait for the overthinker. It favors the mover, the one who acts not because they feel ready, but because they refuse to stay still. You weren't made to be safe. You were made to search, to pull the thread of curiosity until it unravels the entire fabric of comfort, to look at reality and question everything you were told about it. That's not rebellion. That's intelligence refusing to be imprisoned. And the moment you stop asking, is this too much? And start asking, why the hell am I still holding back? That's when your life changes. Not when the plan is perfect, but when your energy gets louder than your excuses. Stop looking for alignment in a world addicted to distraction. You don't need alignment. You need ignition, spark, direction backed by obsession. The kind that wakes you up before the world and keeps you up after it sleeps. Because greatness isn't born in comfort. It's forged in chaos, in discomfort, in the thousand silent moments where you choose the harder path, without applause, without evidence, without guarantee. You just know. Somewhere deep in your gut, you know this is it. This is what I came here for. Every time you hesitate, you rehearse failure. Every time you delay, you reinforce the lie that something out there still needs to change before you begin. It doesn't. You do. You change by deciding ruthlessly, decisively, that your excuses will no longer get a vote. Mindset isn't about being positive. It's about being precise. It's not fluffy mantras. It's mental discipline. The ability to hold one thought so clearly, so consistently, that the rest of the noise gets drowned out. That's how you move through chaos. Not with blind hope, but with sharp, unshakable direction. Stop negotiating with your doubts. They were never designed to lead. Doubt is a passenger. Drive anyway. Because belief is not a feeling. It's a decision backed by repetition. You don't believe in yourself because life is working out. Life works out because you believe. You feed that belief like oxygen, not because it's always easy, but because it's necessary. Because the second you stop, everything stalls. Belief isn't magic, it's physics. Thoughts build momentum. Energy compounds. Clarity attracts clarity. So sharpen it, carve it, own it, burn the plan B. If you don't bet on yourself with your full weight, no one else ever will. There's a cost to believing, yes, but there's a greater cost to hesitation, regret. Regret is the slowest death. It doesn't hit you all at once. It shows up gradually in the conversations you didn't start, in the goals you kept postponing, in the years you gave away to people who never earned your time. You've been taught to seek certainty, but certainty is the death of vision. Vision thrives in motion, in chaos, in the unknown. Vision asks, can you trust what you can't prove yet? Can you walk with fire in your chest even when your hands are empty? Can you plant seeds without needing to see the harvest? If you can, then you're dangerous. Because most people only move when they feel ready. But readiness is an illusion. Visionaries move without proof. They move because they are the proof. Get clear about what you want, crystal clear, blisteringly clear. The universe doesn't respond to half-hearted signals. Don't just want it, define it, see it, hear it, taste it. The sharper your image, the faster your reality reorganizes to meet it. Not because the world changes, but because you do. And once you're clear-act, not perfectly, not later. Now, the idea that clarity has to come before action is a lie. Action creates clarity. You stumble forward. You fall into focus. You collide with answers by moving. Thinking is not enough. Reading is not enough. Wanting is not enough. Only doing rewrites the script. So rewrite it. Rewrite what you thought discipline was. It's not punishment. It's love in its most aggressive form. It's saying, I care about my future more than I care about my comfort. It's showing up when your emotions tell you to quit. It's pushing one more rep, writing one more line, building one more piece of the vision, because the work respects those who keep showing up no matter what. You don't need hype. You need ritual. Consistent, boring, invisible, repetitive execution. That's what rewires your brain. That's what builds trust in yourself. Anyone can grind when they're inspired. The question is, can you grind when you're not? Because that's when you separate the interested from the committed. That's when your legacy begins. Look at your life right now. Really look. What are you tolerating? What patterns are repeating? What thoughts are looping? There's something in your life that's leaking energy, and you know what it is. Cut it. Burn it. Replace it with something cleaner, sharper, stronger, because what you tolerate becomes your standard, and your standard becomes your story. This is about more than results. It's about identity. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. Your results are the reflection of your rituals. Your external world is a mirror, not of your dreams, but of your daily disciplines. Don't like what you see, don't blame the mirror. Change the reflection. And through it all, hold gratitude like a weapon, not as a passive, quiet feeling, but as an active force. Gratitude is power. It takes your focus off what's missing and points it at what's moving. It grounds you. It humbles you. It keeps you locked into the now even while you build the next. Because no matter how massive your vision, you build it one moment at a time, one focused breath, one aligned action, one sharp decision. That's how quantum leaps happen. Not all at once, but in the compound effect of 1,000 clear, committed choices. And when it gets hard, and it will get hard, remember this. Friction doesn't mean failure. Resistance doesn't mean wrong path. It means pressure, and pressure means growth. The seed doesn't split because it's broken. It splits because it's becoming something more. You're not cracking. You're transforming. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to be the kind of person who keeps asking better questions. Rigidity will break you. Flexibility will make you unstoppable. Because life doesn't reward those who stick to the planet, rewards those who stay aligned with the principle. When the plan fails, the principle stays. Adaptability isn't weakness, it's evolution. It's intelligence in motion. So stay fluid, stay sharp. When the facts change, change your strategy, but never change your aim. Never lose the signal just because the frequency shifts. You're not married to methods. You're married to outcomes. And if the road turns, you don't stop, you swerve. You pivot with purpose, because the mission doesn't change, only the moves do. People will tell you to be realistic, but their definition of real is just what they've experienced so far. You are not confined to their version of what's possible. You are not bound by what's been done. You're here to redefine the boundaries, to break things open, to test the edges. That's not being reckless. That's being alive. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back. It's about absorbing impact and growing stronger through it. It's not about pretending you're fine. It's about bending without breaking. It's about owning the fall and still choosing to stand over and over again, with scraped knees and a burning mind and a soul that refuses to stay down. You can't be fragile and powerful at the same time. So choose the grind, choose the pressure, choose the path that sharpens you, not the one that soothes you. Comfort is a sedative. It feels good now, but it kills your potential slowly. Resilience is forged in discomfort, in the silence, in the slow grinding climb when no one claps and everything inside you says, stop. And that's where most give up, in the quiet, not during the storm, but in the stillness afterward, when the excitement fades and all you're left with is discipline. That's the test. Can you keep showing up after the motivation is gone? Can you act like it's already yours when it still feels far away? That's the line, and most people never cross it. But you're not most people. You learn, you evolve, you adapt, and every failure becomes a data point, not a defeat, a download. You extract the lesson, you run the post-mortem, you calibrate, because growth is math. It's not mysterious. It's predictable. You increase your rate of iteration, you decrease your time to mastery. That's it. You're not failing. You're sampling the inputs. Stop taking it personal. Start taking it seriously. Everything is feedback. Every loss is intelligence. Every rejection is redirection. And the ones who move the fastest aren't the ones who never mess up. They're the ones who process their failures fastest. They don't spiral. They study, they reframe, they get up faster than before, and keep moving. Because life doesn't care how smart you are. It cares how fast you adjust. You've got to let go of needing to be right. That's ego. Growth doesn't care about your ego. It only cares about progress. Are you better than yesterday? Did you learn something from the friction? Did you squeeze value from the pain? Then you're already winning. And in that pursuit, stay humble, but don't stay small. You can be grateful and hungry. You can be content and committed. You can say thank you and still demand more. That's not greed. That's expansion. And you were not built to stagnate. You were built to evolve. So let the world call you obsessed. Let them misunderstand your intensity. Let them misread your silence. You're not here to be understood. You're here to become undeniable. Read, study, devour knowledge like your future depends on it, because it does. But don't just collect ideas. Apply them, embody them, build them into your identity. Knowing isn't power. Doing is. And the more you act on what you know, the more that knowledge locks in, not just in your brain, but in your nervous system, in your instincts. Repetition is the mother of all mastery. So build again and again and again until it's reflex, until discipline becomes default, until what once felt impossible becomes your new minimum. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And every action you take is a vote for who you become. Every decision you make is a brick in the foundation of your identity. So build wisely, build deliberately, build like the future version of you is watching. Because it is in that version, that future, it doesn't belong to the hesitant. It doesn't belong to the kind of person who waits for conditions to be perfect. It belongs to the movers, to the doers, to the ones who feel the fear and build anyway. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be braver than your excuses, one decision at a time. This is not a rehearsal. This is it. The clock is ticking. The world isn't going to wait for you to believe in yourself. You've got to move first. You've got to risk the fall. You've got to outgrow who you were again and again until the old version of you can't survive in your new reality. Let that version die. Bury it with the doubt. Bury it with the fear. Bury it with the waiting. Because you're not waiting anymore. You're becoming. There will come a moment, maybe soon, maybe already, when you wake up and realize no one is coming. No one is going to push you. No one is going to hand you clarity. No one is going to save you from the weight of your own untapped potential. That weight is yours to carry, yours to use, not as a burden, but as fuel. This is the moment most people run from. The silence, the raw truth, the uncomfortable realization that their life is exactly what they've allowed. No more, no less. But you lean in. You stop running, you stop blaming, and for the first time, you stand still, not in surrender, but in defiance. Because in stillness you hear it clearly. The voice, the vision, the reason you're still here. That burning image of who you could be if you just went all in. Not halfway, not part-time, not when it's convenient. All in, every ounce, every breath, every beat of your will. You become the vision, not eventually. Now, in how you speak, in how you walk, in what you tolerate, in what you refuse to tolerate anymore. This is what it means to imagine to the end. to see the outcome so vividly that failure becomes irrelevant. You don't quit because there's resistance. You expect resistance. You train for it. You welcome it like an athlete welcomes gravity, not as something to avoid, but as something to build against. You build when it's hard. You push when it's heavy. You show up when it's dark. You keep going when the voices tell you to stop, because you've trained your mind to see past the noise. You've taught your body to move through pain, and you've carved your identity from the discipline of doing what needs to be done, especially when no one is watching. That's what separates the elite from everyone else. The ability to act when it's no longer exciting. The ability to move when the doubt is louder than the vision. The ability to endure without needing applause. Because you know that legacy isn't loud. It's built in the invisible hours, the invisible effort, the invisible wars you fight inside your own head. That's where transformation happens, not in the final result, but in the process. In the brutal, beautiful process of becoming who you said you'd be. You said you wanted greatness, then pay the price. It costs comfort. It costs ego. It costs your old identity. It costs the need to be understood. It costs the luxury of waiting for the right moment. But it gives you something back. It gives you power. It gives you peace. It gives you the ability to walk into any room, any storm, any fire, and know that you are not a product of conditions. You are the creator of them. That's not motivation. That's physics. Energy doesn't lie. And when your energy becomes aligned, when your thoughts, your habits, your words, your actions all point in the same direction, the world responds. Not instantly, not gently, but inevitably. Because the universe doesn't reward the loud, it rewards the locked in. So lock in, not for a week, for a life. Lock into your habits. Lock into your mindset. Lock into the person you said you'd become. No more breaks. No more excuses. No more someday. You're not chasing goals. You're executing inevitabilities. You're not hoping. You're commanding. You're not dreaming. You're building. And every day you close the gap between who you were and who you choose to be now. You don't need more potential. You need more execution. You don't need more signs. You need more self-respect. You don't need more time. You need to decide. Decide that the old story ends here. That the next chapter gets written by your actions, not your fears. That your life, every ounce of it, becomes a living, breathing expression of your vision. A vision that doesn't whisper. A vision that roars. And if the world can't hear it yet, good. Because one day, it will. Not through your words, but through your results. You don't rise by force. You rise by becoming so aligned, so unshakably clear, so disciplined in who you are that rising is no longer a question. It's a law. So rise now.